Hey, babe. Miss you. Thinking about you. How about me going to a meeting and doing this before I go? There's those big rains falling, but I miss you. I miss you a lot. What do you think? Crazy? No, babe. It's gonna be a while before we can do this again, because I know you're gonna keep that baby. But I think about you when I do it. I think about how much I miss you, how high we got together, how much fun it was. So much fun. The last little bit before I go to my meeting. Is that fucked up, babe? You think? I think not. I wish I was looking this off your pussy. It's gonna be a while before we can do this again, because I know you're gonna keep that baby. But I think about you when I do it. I think about how much I miss you, how high we got together, how much fun it was. So much fun. The last little bit before I go to my meeting.
Umbrella. She's up. Whole nother level of shit you can't even understand.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another episode of The Forecast. Now, I don't know how many of you remember the young brother Deandre Harris. He was the young brother who was out there in Charlottesville during the protests that got beat up by all those white people that had poles and all kind of weapons, just hitting them with it. Now, let's go back and see what happened to this young brother during the protests in Charlottesville. Now, after Deandre Harris gets out of the hospital after being jumped by 6 or 7 white people with weapons on him during a Klan rally, he decided to go press charges on those people who beat him up. So after the Charlottesville police investigate the situation that, he has video evidence for, we've been getting video evidence for decades now. Now, the Charlottesville police investigation led them to actually press charges on Deandre Harris. He went to the police to press charges on people who jumped him in a group, used weapons to beat him up, caused severe damage, hospitalized him, and they issued a warrant out for his arrest.
A Virginia magistrate has issued an arrest warrant for a black man who was beaten by white nationalists in Charlottesville in August. 20-year-old Deandre Harris is reportedly accused of attacking one of the men in the group that beat him during the demonstrations August 12th, when anti-racist protester Heather Heyer was killed by a driver who rammed into a crowd. Harris's attorney, Lee Merritt, said the charges were clearly retaliatory and that his client would turn himself in within 24 hours. Harris raised $166,000 on GoFundMe for his medical expenses in the wake of the attacks.
The police say Harris is wanted for unlawful wounding and he is currently not in custody. Now, which one of these thugs that was beating him up was unlawfully wounded? I didn't see any one of them with a bruise, blood, or anything. What exactly did he do that wounded somebody? And can you show me this person that was wounded? Now, the Charlottesville police still haven't even arrested all of the people who was hitting them with poles on this video, but they issue a warrant out for his arrest. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone because it's nothing new. The surprise is that they actually charged any white people. That's the surprise here. Not that the black person got charged for getting beat up. In their eyes, no matter what happens, we deserve what we get. We deserve to get beat up by the cops. We deserve to get killed. You can't ask these people for nothing. They don't play fair. You try to do it by their rules. They don't even stick to their own rules. And a lot of those people didn't have anything to say when it came to that man killing that woman out there during the protest, driving a car through a crowd. They didn't have anything to say. But now this story comes up. Now they say, well, it's a good reason for them to jump this kid out there. Now they can say this kid deserved what he got because he started it.
Don't start shit, won't be shit. So Deandre Harris, who was the young man, 20 years old, who became the face of the Charlottesville Nazi protest, is got a warrant out for his arrest. His attorney said he was going to turn himself in 24 hours. I don't know that time limit has been served yet because I didn't see any updates today because that press release was issued yesterday. But the video footage that we all were pointing to early on showed that he was the instigator. He was walking with Antifa, he assaulted a guy with a bat, and then a fight broke out, and then he fell down, bumped his head. We all saw that. And then, of course, the beat down in the parking garage, which made it look like, because that's how the media portrayed it, that this poor black kid was beaten down by white supremacists at a rally. No, they were retaliating from having been hit by a bat by a bunch of Antifa people. And a lot of those people that were marching in that little Jews will not replace us were not white supremacists. They were Vanguard, which are communists, which also have people of color in their ranks because they're commies. They're not Nazis. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing whole pans out. Of course, there's already backlash where institutionalized racism articles are being shared. UVA is spreading all kinds of jargon about flooding the Commonwealth's attorney's office to not pursue the charges against him, even though he is clearly shown assaulting someone with a bat. It's called an unlawful wounding as the formal charges that they're bringing out.
Mind you, they don't really show any evidence. I don't think they really have any evidence. But we're just supposed to take their word for it. In their minds, they are obsessed with being the good guys. But the only way they could be the good guys is if you are the bad guy. America being the Christian nation that it's supposed to be, how could they sleep at night knowing that they unjustly got all of this shit off blood, off murder, off of some of the worst crimes in history that still continue to this day? But if they can rationalize in their mind, oh, this dude is just a criminal, so he deserved it. If you're a Muslim, then you're just a terrorist, and it's okay if we take your land and kill your people. That's why we see all these white terrorist groups out here active in the streets. But the FBI is more worried about people who identify as black. Now, this is nothing new. They have always identified our people as terrorists. This isn't a new war. This isn't something that's just happening. We've been in the war for hundreds of years. The FBI have always been against us. They just give it different names. This is nothing new. And at this point, they're saying, well, we let you complain for a little while. Now we're tired of hearing that shit. And that we are being a little bit too ungrateful and we better stay in our place. Now, the problem is we have to find a way to have more urgency than they have. They are in a dominant position, and they have more urgency than us. And the FBI is right. The biggest threat to the white dominant society is black people. But we have to be there to protect this kid. We have to be there to protect people like Colin Kaepernick, have his back, make sure he never goes broke again. And instead of being divided on our beliefs and how we think we should do things, we should be united on the fact that we don't want them killing our kids no more. We don't want them killing any of us no more. And we should have people like all of the state attorneys that look out for our causes. We should have their backs and make sure that they get treated fairly. We should definitely be looking out for the judges that we have that don't let it be all white juries and give fair hearings. And when some racist stuff comes to the court, be there to shoot it down. And the thing is, I can't say now they're attacking our kids because since the 1600s, when haven't they been attacking our children? When haven't they been attacking our communities? And as much as they want us to forget our past, we have to remember that even here in America, our people have been united, have been on the same page, have fought for the same things, have been successful. And it's time for our generation to play our part. And we have to learn how to protect ourselves. That is the most important thing. Learn to protect ourselves, learn to protect our children, learn to protect whatever we build. And we need to build a nation. We don't have any choice but to do it right away. And that's why I'm glad Donald Trump was elected, not Hillary Clinton. Maybe if Hillary Clinton was elected, a lot of people would still be okay with what was going on, because it's with a smile on your face. Now that they bring it all out in your face, you ain't got no choice but to react, but to respond, but to build a nation to protect yourselves, because they are coming after you. And guess what? People will always come after you.
A leaked FBI report is sparking anger after the agency expressed concern over what it branded black identity extremists. The report claims they're causing an increase in violence against law enforcement officials. But activists insist it's just another attempt by authorities to strip the black community of its right to protest. Now, the controversial report comes in the wake of widespread protests by Black Lives Matter activists in St. Louis and the state of Missouri. They came out last month after the acquittal of a white officer implicated in the killing of a black motorist back in 2011. Now, police arrested over 300 protesters over the course of 18 days in September and October, but officers were accused of using violent tactics against the demonstrators. Officer Jason Stockley was charged with the first-degree murder of Anthony Lamar Smith in 2011. The officer said he saw Smith holding a gun and felt he was in imminent danger. But prosecutors accused Stockley of actually planting a gun in Smith's car after he shot him. Protesters have come out ever since Stockley was acquitted. And we spoke with one of the protest organizers who accuses the police of a military-like response.
What we are seeing from the police force is a very militarized reaction. We've been tased, we've been maced, we've seen kettling, which is when they block us in from all sides and do mass arrest of 100 to 150 people, people that have not been a part of the protest, that just happen to be in the area. And while they're being arrested, they have gotten maced, they have been sitting in jail for 24 hours, and then a lot of times they get released without any charge against them. So what we are seeing is a police force that is governing how we express our First Amendment rights. And when they get tired and when they get upset, they militarize that against the people.
You will not replace us! You will not replace us! You will not replace us! You will not replace us!
A group of white nationalists held a torch-lit rally in downtown Charlottesville Saturday, 2 months after an Ohio man allegedly killed a woman when he drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. Alt-right activist Richard Spencer was reportedly at Saturday's march protesting the fate of a Robert E. Lee statue. A court recently blocked its removal after a recent legal challenge. Police say the rally lasted about 20 minutes, then the white nationalist group left.
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes, like, it's funny.
Cam Newton is being dragged this morning after making a sexist remark towards a female sports reporter. Watch what happened during Wednesday night's press conference when Jordan Rodriguez asked the Panthers quarterback about running routes.
Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny. But fun is coming along, man. We're gonna. This is a big game for him.
According to Jordan, she even saw the athlete in the locker room a few minutes later, and he didn't apologize. The fallout, meanwhile, has already led to Newton being fired by Orko's Greek yogurt. The brand released a statement that read, "We're disheartened by Cam Newton's behavior, which we perceive as sexist. We shared our concerns with Cam and will no longer work with him." Interestingly enough, the reporter up in arms over Cam shading her is a huge fan of racism and doesn't mind using the N-word on social media. In a series of tweets now deleted, she reveals just how much she enjoys her racist father making jokes about Native Americans. And if that's not disgusting enough, she posted another tweet using the N-word. She tweeted, "The earth moves at 450 miles per hour. That's 10 times triller than NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt's a bitch." After the tweets started making their way around the web, she released an apology on the social media website. She wrote, quote, "I apologize for the offensive tweets from my Twitter account 4 or 5 years ago. There is no excuse for these tweets and the sentiment behind them. I am deeply sorry and I apologize." Cam has remained silent, but we want to know, should he apologize? But more importantly, if he got fired, should the reporter be let go for publicly making racist remarks?
We talked about this yesterday. And I said, you have to be careful playing the role of the martyr. Remember, I said, don't do any interviews. Don't make it about you. But she did respond to what he said on a tweet. She said, I don't think it's funny to talk about routes. It's my job. Okay, that's fine. Little crackback.
All right, good.
Then she did track him down.
Crackback.
And was looking
Hit him up with that crackback.
Looking for some sort of apology. And she said that Cam did not apologize to me. So that perpetuated the story a little bit. Someone did a deep dive and found that Jordan Rodriguez was back in 2012. So this was 5 years ago. 2012, I believe it was. She did tweet an N-bomb, 2013.
Was Twitter around in 2012?
Yeah, Twitter popped up maybe 2006, 2007.
This world moves fast.
But way too fast. I can't believe it's Friday. But
True.
She was tweeting about being on a road trip with her dad and how funny it was that her dad was telling racist jokes as they were driving through Navajo land, and then shared one of the jokes with a friend in correspondence and did drop an N-bomb.
Yeah, boy.
It's funny.
So, Nick, the way I see this, Cam made a mistake. She's in trouble.
She fired. You gone.
Poor girl.
See you, lady. Poor girl. Poor girl?
Yeah, I feel bad for this girl.
Why poor girl?
Because she's doing her job, and Cam made a comment. Of course, I can't defend her for what she said in 2013. She shouldn't get fired for something 4 years later because Cam decided to make a joke out of her question.
So
yeah, but
racism has a
no. I said you can't. Yeah. It was a good question. That was
honestly.
It's like a 7-year window, but she's not at that 7-year window yet. It's like a criminal record.
If I were called into our boss's office and she had a printout of this tweet exchange and handed it to me, I would expect to be fired.
Yeah.
And I would not blame anybody else.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'll get my stuff.
Especially if I'm working in the NFL.
You wouldn't fight for your job?
What is she going to say?
I probably would. Well, I'd cry.
There's no way she
try
could
to cry my way out of it.
There's no way she could fight for a job.
She needs to go move to a different team and city.
No.
Well, or Charlotte Observer has to move her to another beat because I thought Matt brought up a good point off air.
Covering businesses.
Is there a lawsuit there if they just fire her from this?
I just don't think she can do her job. Maybe they can let her hang around a little bit until
or go cover another beat
until it proves. Sure, yeah,
like high school football.
I just don't think being in an NFL locker room right now. For one, I thought it was going to be wildly difficult, and I said this yesterday to continue doing her job. She put their boy on blast. Cam is their guy. Right. I don't care what.
Well, Cam brought it on himself initially.
Sure, he brought it on himself, and he apologized. We'll get to the apology here in a moment. But
I'd like to play this. Yeah,
good. Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. But she put him on blast, and he did it to himself. But then she continued to stoke that fire and continued to double down on Twitter. No, he didn't apologize to me. Don't listen to what the team's saying. Don't listen to what. Okay,
so she did say that too.
She kept going.
Oh boy.
No, she didn't. She basically said, I tracked him down after the press conference as he was leaving the locker room, and he did not apologize.
Why are you tracking anybody down for an apology?
She's
Again,
like,
that's weird.
I am so mad. And then she goes on the whole thing on behalf of the women who stand with me and beside me, trying to do our jobs as reporters. She did that whole, like you said yesterday, the martyr role.
Yes.
She took the martyr role. So regardless of if anything came out from 2012, I still thought it was going to be difficult for her to go back in there, and she was going to have to start anew, but start from below ground zero. She's at a deficit now in that locker room, building the relationships that are so crucial to her. And then you come in to an 80% black locker room, and you've got the N-bomb on your Twitter account 3 times. 3 times. And I don't care when it was from. That's enough ammunition to go, lady, please.
Controversy tonight, and an Eyewitness News exclusive. It's over a worker's hair. A young employee at a Banana Republic store in Westchester County braiding her hair, and she says that got her into trouble for violating a store's dress code that she didn't know existed. She took her case to social media, and tonight she's speaking exclusively to Eyewitness News reporter Rob Nelson.
19-year-old Destiny Tompkins has worked at this Banana Republic store at the Westchester Mall in White Plains for just about a month. She was called into a meeting with her manager on Wednesday, caught completely off guard by what happened next.
He was like, yeah, so the district manager came in. She pointed out something about your hair. And I'm like, okay, so what's wrong with my hair? He said, it's a little too urban and unkempt for our look and for our image. We were just wondering, like, if you could just take them out.
Destiny, who works to pay her way through school, says she could not believe it was her hairstyle coming under attack by her 30-something white male manager. She says she tried to explain to him that many black women choose this style to protect their hair from colder weather, but that did nothing to persuade him.
When I heard that, I was just like, you know, it's okay, because I was looking for a new job anyway, so I might just quit soon. He was like, oh, you can quit today if you want.
This Harlem native and aspiring filmmaker vented her anger on Facebook, generating plenty of reaction. She says she wants this manager to apologize, to be disciplined, and most importantly, to truly understand why she was offended by his comments about the braids she had just put in about a week ago.
It's basically like you're just telling me I'm too black to work here, and you have a problem with the way I present myself as a black woman.
Banana Republic did release a statement today saying it is investigating the incident. Quote, we are committed to upholding an inclusive environment where our customers and our employees feel respected. Meantime, Destiny says she will soon quit the job and that she and her family are considering legal action. They believe this is clear-cut discrimination.
I felt so overwhelmed and confused, and I just felt like so powerless within that moment.